So, Yulia, hi, we're back.
Hi, André.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. It's been a while since we've done a recording.
Yeah.
I was very curious. You posted recently something about transgender, and you're very vocal and passionate about that topic. So I wanted to kind of give you an opportunity to say what you feel about the whole transgender issue, and also talk about how I feel about the situation, especially around sport and the acceptance of transgender into obviously sport. So, for example, male who have transformed into female, then competing against genetic females, and vice versa. However, I think on the other side, male to female is a slightly more talkable topic because of the strength differences. But we can get to that. I want to get your whole perspective on transgender, because we spoke offline, we spoke privately about it separately, and you said that you have a real issue with the fact that you're a woman and that you feel like your womanhood is being disrespected in some way. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Okay. As a first, I want to tell the people that I don't have nothing against these transgender persons or persons who want to be transgender.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I don't care at all that problem, because it's not my problem, you know. So if they have a problem, because should you can be, or they say, or you can see that they have a problem. If not, they would not be a tema.
Well, let's say the problem
time.
is that they have a problem identifying with the gender that they are born with. Let's put it that way. It's they feel in many ways that they can't relate to the body that they have.
Yeah, this is something I can understand, because not everybody is born in how they want to be born. It means two people that maybe is going to have a lot of kilos. They are not happy with his body. People is without legs. It's the same. They will like to have legs and they don't have legs, and they have to live without legs. You know, they are not the only person in this world who need new maybe rules and new that the politic is going to change something there to make their life easier. But I think they are not much victims that someone who is born in with a illness, you know, a chronic illness or a disability.
Yeah.
And even if they are not disability, or they don't, because they are not disability, the problem how they show is like a disability, because they say that if so long they cannot be in the way they want to be, they are unhappy, and unhappy persons, they are going to be sick, or they cannot work, or they cannot do the things how they want to do, or I don't know. You know, the thing is, for me, is not a problem in the society, and I am very happy if the society is very colorful, you know. I like that. I don't care. I am the first person that I have a colorful family.
Yeah, exactly.
Know, even if they are not transgender, but in another way colorful. But it's very difficult if you I don't feel happy, or I don't feel okay in the way that they call themselves women, because they are not a woman. And if I don't want that they get my gene to be called, because I don't think, even if they change how many they want to change in his bodies and do so many operations how they want to do in his bodies, they still not be a female. They still not be a woman, you know. And this is the reason I feel bad in my gene to call woman in my gender, because it's not. I think it's not respectful. Gegenüber.
Getting over.
No, it's not respectful for all the women in the world, you know, that someone is calling woman who is not a woman. This is like, is how are you going to feel a man if a woman who is transgender, she said is a man.
So how do they?
How you are feeling like a man?
So how do we? What do we call them then? If they dress like a woman, if they identify as a woman, if they even go through the process of having a sex change, so changing their equipment, let's say, what do you think they should be called? Should they still be called a man if they've gone from a man to a woman, or
you can call how you want, but not woman. You can find another word for that person, for that kind of person, for this gender that they want to be and they can't be. One thing is how they feel. It's okay. They feel like a woman, of course, and I respect that they feel like a woman. But genetical, they are not.
No, genetically they're not. But isn't
they never be a woman going to be a woman.
Isn't the description for them already transgender women? Isn't that the correct terminology to use? Transgender woman.
They say from themselves. They say they wanted to be a woman, and people is asking now. Sometimes the big tema in the social medias is now if the transgender person is a woman, and they make these questions to many famous people and other people they are not so famous, and in their opinion when they say no they are not a woman, then everyone is going to have critiques, and bad answers from the other side, because we are disagree with the thoughts that they are women. And this is what I think is not right. Another way is in Spain, for example, now they are going to change a law in the Congress, for that persons. I didn't read this new law, what it's going to be, I don't know which rights they want to have now that we don't have, or I don't have like a woman. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you mean that we don't already have in society?
Yes, in the society, because they don't need to go to the army anymore. I think all the rights, the person's rights in Spain are exactly the same for everyone,
Well, they should be.
Yes, should be. Why make a difference for that person? This is one point. And I think it's more created this new woke generation loves, to speak about that temas, because I think they have nothing better to do than to lose the time in minorities that they are not really so important for the future, the humanity and everything. You know what I mean? A person is a person, and it's even, but to call that person a woman, in my opinion, is wrong, because I feel like a woman, not okay. I'm happy with that, because it's like to make me to use my gender for something that is not true. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
don't know if
understand.
You can feel that.
No, I understand.
And the other things I told you that for the politics in Spain is, of course, that they need to create some, like we call in Spain chiringuitos, is like some kiosk, like you open kiosk to sell something and put people inside, because they have a lot of helps now. Money, of course, helps to work on it. This kind of themas like transgender, like feminismos, and it's like up to date at the moment, and it's a huge of money going to this kind of office and departments, and I don't know exactly for what, and this is normally a lot of money, and it's money from the European Union, money from the taxes that we all pay, and I think there are another more important themas in a country, in every country in this world, that these themas, and to spend the money in that themas, or not too much money, or not to open a chiringuito, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. And this is make me a little bit angry, that the politicians now, they are trying to make problems from temas that they never have been a real problem for anyone, just for the people, of course, that they want to be transgender or to be operated, or I don't know. But there is not the only people who needs help, and I don't know which kind of help we can give to these persons. For example, what they want to have a hormone behandlung, hormone therapy, of cost from the Krankenkasse, from the insurance,
from health insurance,
from the health insurance that we all pay, or
from the public system,
from the public system, make operations. Is they can marry it. Today you can marry it, men with men, women with women, this and that. Change the names. You can do it too. I don't know what they want.
Yeah, I know it's a bit hard to understand exactly what it is that
maybe we need to read it. To read that law,
or maybe we should invite a transgender woman or male onto the podcast and have them explain to us why it's so important that the transgender community feels that they need to have this recognition as being transgender. I think, as I said to you as well, I think generally, for the most part, we're living in a very accepting society these days. Of course, there are people who are bigots and who have issues with homosexuality or with transgender, but that's going to be the case anywhere. It doesn't matter. That's always going to exist. But I think overall, society's acceptance and mindset has most definitely changed for the better. And from my perspective, and I know from yours and from everyone I know as well, quite frankly, I personally don't care if you're gay, bi, straight, transgender, whatever you might be. But it reminds me a little bit to when I was a teenager at school. I went to a Catholic school, and I was always told by the religious studies teachers, you've got to believe in God or you're going to go to hell. Like they would shove religion down your throat, to try to make you believe in it. And I'm kind of wondering if this isn't almost the same thing. It's kind of like they're this, like you said, this wokeism, or this desire for recognition, to recognize them for who they are. I think generally everyone does. I think we do. I think it's just a matter of maybe they're not seeing that clearly. Maybe there's something missing from society. I don't know. But generally, they're accepted. I mean,
I remember when I was studying Madrid in the 90s that it was I think the biggest movement from the transgender and homosexuality persons, and there was really a big area in Madrid full of these people, and I always have been there dancing with them. I have in my school many gay men and women as gay as well. And for me, it was very normal. It was something new because I was young, but I learned that what is happening in the world now, and for me, was not a problem to have this kind of friends and companions in at the school. But I remember when I went in a discotheque one night, in a gay disco, and it was a transgender woman or a transgender woman.
Into a woman,
a woman. And she was dancing with me, and she was like a little bit flirting. You call flirting?
Flirting,
flirting.
Yeah.
And la. And at the end, we went out, and she was talking to me, and she said to me, do you know, it's very strange because I'm transgender, but I feel very attracted for women. I say, of course, because you are a man, And this is what someone who was in front of me, with big teeth, operate with better hair than me, and and
So
she
they
said to
had
me,
had the sex change? They'd gone through the
yes,
change?
yes, of course, they go
Wow.
through the
Okay.
change
So,
and
so even with the
getting on.
hormonal changes and everything,
Yes, because the body is the body. You can do what you think. It's like la cabra tira al monte. It's like your
Yeah.
body is recognized.
yeah,
Your body has memory. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's just that case was, or many cases are in that way. But I remember these words from this man to say to me, I don't know, it's very crazy and very strange because now I like women, and
okay. So before, did she like women, or was she
No.
more into men?
no, she was a man, wearing the woman.
Yes, but she
And
preferred
after,
to be with
after-
men.
After many years, after maybe 3, 4, or 5 years to be transgender,
Yeah.
she returned to like women.
Right.
It was coming like a natural feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She
yeah.
likes
But I'm trying to
men.
understand that
She
before
like men.
before she had the sex change, before she went through the process
course,
of
likes
changing,
men.
she was gay, basically.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was living a gay lifestyle.
Yeah, this is normally the procedure.
And then she had the sex change, the hormone
Yeah.
change, and then she says, oh, funnily enough, now I'm attracted to women.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is the thing. The nature is natural. I'm sure that the body has a little bit memory, and even if you are changing many things, it's remember something. Maybe
Yeah.
she was not too much transgender feeling, or she was, but the body was not. So I don't know. I cannot say, but I just want to say maybe we should think about that, because things happened to me when I was 17 years old, and it's staying in my mind. And I always was looking this woman, men, and I always was feeling very sad for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if they are transgender, they make me feel sad because I always remember that person. It's like they are never going to be happy in any way or in the other way. If you see, for example, now the Kardashians, the how it's called, the father from the
Yes, I know
Kardashians,
who you mean.
he was the best sport man in the world, and then he was
Is it Caitlyn Jenner now?
Yes, Caitlyn Jenner.
Yeah.
I
can't even remember what her previous name was.
I don't know, but he was amazing sport.
Yeah, I do
man.
know that he was an athlete. He was an Olympian.
Yeah, a very
Or
good
she
one.
was an Olympian. Sorry.
Yeah, and now she is remember all that time, and when you see her, even if she said she's happy, I think she's not.
It's hard to say, Yulia. I don't think we can say whether they are or not.
But all transgender that I know, they are maybe.
I think the reason why they do it is to try to find happiness, to try to find
themselves,
self acceptance and self happiness. I think that's the main reason, and you can't criticize someone for that. I mean, if it means going through that process to really be the person who you believe you should be, go for it. You should not criticize. But I see your point about the, saying that they're a woman when they're really born with different chromosomes. They're not women in that sense.
It's like in the sport. You wanted to speak about the sport. What's happened now with the sports?
The sports is a real issue, because like the recent story out of America was this college athlete who was originally who's a born male, and during COVID decided to take the opportunity in the downtime to transgender into a woman.
Yeah.
And before her changing process, she competed as a male athlete at a college level, and her rankings were very average. She was not very strong compared to other men or other young men in her league. As soon as she transitioned, and then she started competing with other women, her rankings, she started beating them all, but not just beating them, smashing the records by 30 seconds, and in some cases, not in all. and basically, in my opinion, unfairly competing against natural-born women, because the amount of testosterone that her body had generated in the time that she was a male makes her, of course, naturally stronger and faster compared to a female. Now, even though they've transitioned and they've had hormonal changes, and it was like a 2.5 year period, that strength is not diminished. It's not going away because it's been there for 20 plus years. That's a long time to build strength. So that's where I think it's unfair. And it's also the same with some fighting competitions, like, for example, the UFC. Some men have transitioned into women and now fight against women, which is, I think, completely insane, because you're literally putting a man against a woman in a combat environment. And the women, they don't have a chance. They're getting smashed, literally smashed. And I think there has to be some laws now that protect natural-born women, whether we have a set of, like, an actual identity of transgender competition, so that males that transferred into females, there's a competition for those, just as there is for women into men. I think that's the only way around it. But I don't think you can put a person that was born a male, transitioned to being a female after living in a male's body for God knows how many years, and then compete against women in sport. In certain sports, not in every sport. Like, for example, I know there are some sports where men and women compete together.
Chess.
But that's typically...
Chess, for example.
Which one?
Chess, if you pin chess, table...
Chess.
Yeah,
but also
chess,
show jumping, equestrian sports, for example. Men and women compete at the same competitions amongst themselves, like, within the same pool.
Horses.
Exactly, because it's with the horses. It's not a matter of physical strength that comes into that element. It's actually the way that person rides that horse. And a woman can ride a horse, in some cases, a lot stronger than a male can. Yeah, so, when, as I said, the women, in many cases, often have more ability on a horse than men. Not always, of course. But it really comes down to the element of the animal involved as well. So, I think it's a grey area. It's a really tough area, and I think it's one that's only going to create more dialogue and more discussion, because it's not something that can be easily resolved. But there has to be a way around it. There has to be a resolution. And I personally think the best way is, as I said, just to create transgender segments within competition sport. And
yes, but I think they are not too much,
There's not enough.
No, it's not enough. Because this is
but it has to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely feel that it is unfair, especially at an elite level, for a person that was born a male to take away opportunity for other born women who themselves have trained literally their whole lives for certain opportunities, and then someone comes along and takes that from them because they're a born male.
It's like to be doping.
Yeah.
It's the same for
them. Yeah. And I find that there has to be a way around that.
But what the jury said that in that moment, because of the swimmer, they was checking I don't know if it was the hormones, and I don't know exactly what they were checking. And they say, it's not a problem because she has or he has not too much from, I don't know which. No,
that's the thing. Because what they have done in America, I don't know if it's a global thing, but in America they've set a law that you can compete as a woman if you've gone through the transition period for a period of, I think it's 36 months.
Oh, mm-hmm.
Right? So... you have to wait, and because they say that it takes 36 months for the female hormones to effectively take effect.
Yeah.
Right? But I still argue the fact that even though that's 3 years, the reality is they've been a man their whole lives. They've benefited from testosterone
of course,
rampaging through their body as teenagers. and building strength. I mean, that's something a woman just cannot produce.
Of course.
So, I mean, women produce testosterone, certainly, but not at the degree that men or young men do. So I think there has to be, I think there needs to be more than just this 36-month period where they say, okay, if you transition, we give you 36 months to go through the hormone treatment and all of that. I personally, as I said, I think there has to be a dedicated division for transgender individuals.
Me too.
Even though they're maybe small in numbers, it has to start somewhere. It has to start somewhere. And perhaps even if they did start a division, it might then encourage all of those people that are still themselves concerned about making a transition because of society's acceptance or because of certain, maybe what they might feel are restrictions in society, like not having segments to compete at a sporting level. Maybe that will help people also come through and make the change.
Do you know if it's some women transgender to men?
Yes.
Competing in a sport, or
yes, I have heard.
In which category?
I don't know, but I don't know, but I have heard of women changing into men. I think in wrestling, there was one example of a woman who transitioned into a man, and but I also know in wrestling as well there was a man who transitioned into a woman, and of course.
Win everything.
Yeah, destroyed them. Didn't just win, Julia, absolutely destroyed. It was unfair. And I think there has to be, I don't know.
This is the same way, I think, sorry that this word, because I cannot speak so good English today. I don't know, my head is not working.
It's Friday. It's been a busy week.
Yeah, and I'm so tired. My head is not working so quickly. But I think this is what I feel. Unfair. It's unfair to call someone woman who is not a woman. This is what I mean. And to have the rights like a woman, if we have another rights like a man, that I am not really sure, but I don't think so. Like a woman when you are not a woman.
Yeah.
It's like that if we have different rights, that I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so, that we have different rights in our system.
Yeah.
In Germany not, in Spain not, I don't think so. If it's the private company or someone private, who decide to pay much or less or more, this is, this is always the offer and demand problem, and you can decide private who you want to have in your company or not. And
yeah. I think generally we have to be very careful as a society on how we move forward with whatever decisions are made. And a good example again is, I heard not long ago in America that they wanted to pass a law. It was either in Canada or America where they proposed to pass a law that identified women not as women, but as childbearing human beings or childbearing individuals, something along those lines. They wanted to take the woman component away from it so that if a man wanted to, in some future way, be pregnant and carry a child, that they could then be identified as a child-carrying individual. And I just thought to myself, this is insane. Like, this is going far too far. You cannot tell a woman who is a feminine, natural woman that they're not, and if they're breastfeeding and they have a normal pregnancy, they go through the whole process, you cannot call that person a childbearing individual. I'm sorry, that is just wrong. It's a mother. That is a mother. But they're trying to take those labels away from gender as well. And this is where it goes too far. And we have to be very careful that we don't force a change in the reality of gender. And there are only two genders, it's male and female.
This is the same happened too with the inclusive language.
Right. But this is...
they are now changing all...
Yeah. But just as transgender people want to be recognised as transgender people and have what we believe already the rights to be transgender, on the other side, they also have to respect the fact that women are women and men are men.
Yeah.
And that's something that we cannot deny. You go back throughout history, that is what we are. End of story.
And the thing too that I don't like it for in that tema is that they are, they say themselves like they are victims.
Yes.
But in my opinion,
in some cases, yes.
In some cases, or maybe most. I don't know exactly, but they are not victims. We are taken there in the laws and in the rights and in the politics like they are going to be a victims. We are spending money to help them like they are victims. And I say victims from what? This is what I don't understand as well. They are not victims.
No.
For nothing they happen. They are people. They maybe they need help for the years and to go there where they going to go. But this is a private decision, individual.
Yes. Yeah.
It's not my problem.
Yeah. They're not being victimized.
Because we have a lot of victims that they need help, and we have a lot of persons that they need support, a real support from us, and this is something I don't. For example, I was remember now, I get an operation, it was a cosmetic operation, and I have to write something, to sign some papers that is happened something to me after this surgery that I cannot reclaim it by my insurance.
Okay.
For example. So how is going to manage that with the transgender? My right, because it was my own decision to do this operation.
Yeah, it wasn't a necessary mandatory surgery.
I could say I cannot live with that. I'm depressive.
Yeah.
I blah blah blah. I could make a show and maybe get it pain from the, but it's not. It's like abuse from a system. Who is working for people who needs real
need it.
And I don't want it to do this is that like how they want to manage that everything this kind of things I have interest to know how it's going to be
but again I don't know enough about the laws, especially here in Germany, but I think the whole area is a grey area that still needs a lot of definition and a lot of consideration and thought. But I think what's important is that, in my opinion, generally society is very, very accepting of a person's choice of sexuality, a choice of their...
but not now, since many, many, many years.
Exactly, of
not
course,
now,
since many years.
New.
But that's exactly, you're right. And that's my point. It's like, why do we feel that it's, or why do they feel that it's so important that they try to drive this message or this subject through so hard? It's like, okay, we understand you're transgender. We're really happy for you. Congratulations. Just go and live your life. Be happy about it.
Yeah.
Don't keep reminding us of the fact that you've transitioned. I mean, we don't necessarily need to know.
No.
It's great. We accept it. Thank you. Congratulations. But enjoy your life now. Yeah. Move on. But unfortunately, there's an element of society that feels like they have to constantly drive the message. And that's what I was trying to revert back to religion, because earlier in the 80s and in the 70s and 80s, I think religion was a little bit like that. They just constantly drove this message, you got to go to church, believe in God, all of these things. In fact, it's not through the 80s, it's through history that's been the case, right? Religion's caused so much trouble. But in many ways, I find there's similarities to the message. Like, okay, we get it. You can get off your soapbox now and just get on with life, because there's a lot more important stuff going on in the world. Yeah. Than
that tema, and this is what I think. Now I am for helping minorities. They really need it. Of course, I'm the first person because I have a son with an illness. My first son with how it's called in English, with
Schizophrenic.
yeah, and I am the first person who I need support from the start, from the
state.
from the state to help my son, you know, and there is in his case it's not a minority because there is a lot of many people they are psychical sick in the world, a lot, and every day I think more and more and more, but I just want to say I'm the first person. I want to support minorities. I need private support. I need myself the support. You know, I was feeling very alone, and I think there are really people outside that they need it. You know, and the society is not prepared, and the maybe for this kind of persons as well. I think it's much more important to spend money in that way, you know, to support these people, that they don't be separate from the normal way of life, from the families, from the friends, because of his illness, because they don't find a place in the world. They don't find a place, and they have really a problem. You know? And I don't see that, you know, it's spending money to try to make public and to understanding problems like depression, like schizophrenia, bipolarity, anyway, you know, many. It's more actually a tema now because much more people is getting sick in that way, you know. But they don't make like a, you know, it's not like a transgender. It's not this tema like.
Well, many might even argue that the process of identifying as a transgender person also impacts psychologically,
Yeah,
which I think would be an accurate statement.
Yes, of course, for sure.
Because it obviously must affect one's own mental.
Yes, for sure. But if you say
mindset.
that, they are going to be bad with you as well. You say that they are have mental.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe some, not all. Perhaps I think some would identify the fact that they know themselves they need to transition so that they have peace of mind. You know, and I think they know if they don't do it, that they might then have mental problems later in life.
Yeah.
So I think some actually do recognise that. Look, again, I don't know. I don't know enough transgender people. I haven't spoken with enough transgender people. I don't obviously have that situation in my life. I don't identify as transgender myself, but I can certainly appreciate that it would be a very challenging thing to go through.
Yeah.
And I think everyone's level of challenging is different. Individual people have different ways of thinking about what's difficult and what's not. So yeah, it's a tough situation, no doubt about it. But I think what's important is that generally society accepts it. We don't feel as though it's necessary to constantly be reminded of the fact.
No.
And I think if you identify as a woman, good for you. Congratulations. Enjoy your life and move on.
But it's not the main tema now in the society. And and I have the feeling we lose so many time, so much power, and investing in energy in those kind of temas that they are really important. Really not so important.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm hungry now.
Me too. Let's wrap it up then. Okay, good. Well, thank you.
Pleasure.
Good to see you again.
Yes, nice to see you again. And we make you want to talk another tema, but I think it's going to be the podcast very long.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll cut it and we
next time
make this tema within a second one.
Yeah.
Which
we can
is
do
the
that.
tema you want to
I want to talk about how Russian and Belarusian athletes are being discriminated against competing at international levels now because of what's going on.
Okay. Then we can...
I have a real problem with that.
Yeah. Then we can speak...
Yeah. Good. Let's do that.
Sport and work.
Very good. Okay. Then until next time, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yes.
And we'll see you whenever we see you next.
Yes. Thank you very much. And we see us.
Okay. Ciao.